All right, it's time to work on a recipe for growing great kids. I just introduced the concept of developmental assets and why they're important. So let me get into some of the details about the actual assets and the probabilities of success and high risk behavior, depending on how many our kids have. So, again, this all comes from the Search Institute and their work on developmental assets. I encourage you to go to their website and look at all the resources they have. But just to illustrate a bit about those resources, these are 4 different age groups that the assets are listed. So it is a bit specific to each age group, yet at the same time, generally they're the same. They're just worded differently for different age groups. And they're broken in between external and internal assets. I'll explain that more in a moment. But the power of these assets is just amazing and important for us to understand. When we look at the probability of high-risk behavior and success behavior based on how many assets our children have, wow, it's eye-opening. So let's take a minute just to look at these graphs. I'll give you a few minutes or a moment or so to take a peek. Feel free to pause to get get a closer look at it. But in general, we look at the left side, the probability of high-risk behavior. Alcohol use is that first color. And 0 to 10 assets, we can see that there's a 44% chance of having a problem with alcohol if we have few assets. Jump to the other side of that graph, though, and there's only a 2% chance of that high-risk behavior if they have 31 to 40 assets. So powerful, very powerful in all 4 of those areas: alcohol, drug use, sexual activity, and violence. So let me pause just for a moment, give you a chance to pause the video if you want to. And then on the other side of that coin, we have the probability of success behavior. Again, very dramatic information here, dramatic understanding. 0 to 10 assets, only an 8% chance of success in school. And it jumps to 58% if I have 31 to 48 assets. And what does that mean? That means I get mostly A's in school. So that's pretty powerful asset development. And then one more example, maintaining good health. 29% chance of maintaining good health with 0 to 10 assets, and 91% chance of maintaining good health with 31 to 40 assets. So again, as you can see, if we are able to build these ingredients into our kids' lives, their probabilities of success are just so much better. And I think this is our responsibility as educators and as parents, is to create environments, create opportunities for these assets to become a part of their lives. One last slide. Well, it's actually a couple of pieces here, but just to illustrate, again, the internal versus external assets. I know you can't read these, so let me zoom in a little bit. These are the internal assets. I went there first because I think that's the internal work that we can do with our kids, developing productive and positive habits of mind. So just flipping through a few of these, how about 25, early literacy, reading to our kids when they're young. Number 28, this is a very powerful internal one, integrity. How do we develop integrity in our kids? In terms of social competency, resistance skills, the ability to say no and to be able to say, yes, I have something more important, therefore I'm going to say no. And then positive identity, number 39, a sense of purpose. Do I believe I have purpose in life? Those are internal things. They're things that come from within. They come from my disposition about who I am and how I'm capable in this world. And then on the external side, those things that come at our kids, if you will, are those external things like other adult relationships, number 3. Number 9, service to our community. Number 14, adult role models in our life. And then constructive use of time, religious community, being involved in a church or synagogue or other religious communities that create community and create purpose for our kids in their lives. So those are the internal and external asset categories. I would encourage you to click on that link that's in the description to go to these pages and print out the ones that are appropriate for your children so you can get a better sense of what all 40 assets are. I'm going to be going through all 40 assets to give us, number one, a little bit more understanding of what the asset is, and more importantly, or most importantly, how do we help build them into our kids' lives. Finally, in the next video, I want to look at this from another perspective, from the perspective of what assets do our kids have control over themselves? What about our families? What assets do we have control over as parents, the school, and finally the community, and how those relate to the whole person, heart, mind, body, and soul. So stay tuned for that. I'll see you next time.